All right, hello. Thank you guys for being patient. Yes, we had some technical difficulties. As a result, some of the graphics might be a little wonky, but the information will be good. So bear with me as we go through this. Thank you for the introduction. I'm Hillary Peppers. I am a reference librarian at the St. Louis County Library. If you guys are familiar with the headquarters branch on Lindbergh, right across from Plaza Frontenac, that was a hole in the ground. Now we have some scaffolding. That building should go up by the end of next year, and that's going to be where the reference department is. So that's where I was working. It's where I will work again. But right now I'm at the administration building on Clayton and Spady, if you know where that is. So I am very grateful to get out of what is basically just an office building. I really miss working in a library. But today we're going to talk about, it's a program I call Adaptive Aging, and it is about basically holistic aging and how the library can kind of help support you, all of us. Aging doesn't just happen one day, we're all aging. How the library can support aging across the lifespan. Oh, this is kind of what I was talking about. So we're going to use what is called the LIFE framework, and this was developed out of the Oklahoma State University, and it kind of looks at aging across these 4 categories: longevity, independence, fitness, and engagement. And so each component is a part of healthy aging, optimal aging, whatever you want to call it. And this is, again, how the library can help support you at every stage in each one of these areas. And so just as we talk about this, when we talk about health or healthy aging, it's important to kind of think about how is health measured. So health it's not just the absence of disease, or just because you're not sick doesn't necessarily mean that you're healthy. Health, it's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. So it is, again, this holistic kind of look at how we live. So again, if biology, that is the absence of disease. But cognitive, ability to perform tasks, the ability to, just think and do and enjoy, that's part of health. Social, those social connections, exactly what you are doing here today is fabulous. And you know it, you're here for a reason, and science says that you're right. So the social part is part of health as well. So the first thing, the L in life, is longevity. So it's that combination of everything internal and external that kind of helps determine, to the degree that you can influence it, the length of your life. So real quick, we'll look at longevity as far as length of life in the U.S. People over 55 represent 29% of people living in the U.S. People over 65, 16.5%. People over 75, 70%. And this is on the 2020 census. Honestly, I think those numbers might actually be a little higher, given that 2020 was such a weird year to try and get everybody to report. Here in St. Louis County, it's higher. We're about 1 in 3 people are over the age of 55. People over 60, 20%. People over 80, 5%. So it's significant, and we all hear about baby boomers. Those numbers just keep growing. So it's it's important to think about what aging and healthy aging looks like. And so we're going to talk about blue zones. Are you guys familiar with blue zones? They're really, really cool. They're longevity hotspots. So there are these areas in the world where, for no known reason when they were discovered anyway, people have extremely long lifespans. And they're all over these different parts, so it's not a single cultural thing, right? So Japan, Greece, Italy, Costa Rica, and then California. There are these little pockets of longevity. And so when people started to study this and say why, what do they have in common? They found moderate, regular physical activity, life purpose, stress reduction, moderate caloric intake, plant-based diet, moderate alcohol intake, engagement in spirituality and religion, and there are a lot of studies that back that one up, engagement in family life, and engagement in social life. But it's not about picking and choosing one or two of these. It is that in these specific cultures, all of these are layered and woven. So the moderate physical activity, let's say that, so that just means maybe you're walking half a mile to go to dinner with your friends or your family. So that's the family life, engagement and social life. Maybe you sit down, you have a glass of wine, and you eat a basically plant-based meal. But it's all of those things that are interwoven. They layer on top of each other. And they found that in all of these, what would otherwise be kind of these disparate cultures, you know, Greece compared to Japan, compared to Southern California, these were those things that they all had in common. And I find that fascinating. I think that is so interesting. And so while obviously it's to everyone's benefit to do any of these, so if you cherry pick, that's great. But it's when you're able to try and think about your life, again, holistically, where you can interweave these, that adds to longevity. But if you're interested in learning more about that, we do have some library resources specific to Blue Zones. The gentleman that has done all of the research on this is Dan Butner. And so he wrote the book, The Blue Zones, 9 Lessons for Living Longer, and there are a few additions, so there have been updates. And there are also a couple of cookbooks. So if you want to look at recipes from those Blue Zones, and I've checked out the cookbooks. They're really fun, beautiful photography, well-written recipes. And again, it's just recipes from all over the world. So even if you're not from the Blue Zones aspect, it's a really fun cookbook. Another resource for longevity that the library has is a community referral coordinator. We actually work with someone who comes in the branch, and if you are needing referrals, if you're not sure what services are available to you, health insurance, helping you figure out what's covered and what's not, finding a doctor or finding some kind of physician's assistant, anything that medical related, if you just need a referral, it's someone that can help you with that. But again, community programs for chronic disease management is really the big one. So whether that is arthritis, diabetes, you name it, there's someone that can tell you whether there are community resources that are available to you, either with your insurance. Most of them are going to be free, but there's so much out there that we just don't even know. And that is just like a one-stop shop for community referrals. So that is something that the library offers, I want to say once a week, but you can find it on our events page of the website. You can give us a call. Just remember, every time you call your library, you are keeping someone in a job. So never feel bad about reaching out and calling us. You will talk to a person. You get a phone menu. But we are one of the last places you will talk to a human being, and that human being will help you. So never feel bad about calling us. Other library resources for longevity. This is really cool. This is a partnership that we have with BJC Health, and it's called the Community Wellness Hub. And so they will come in and they will teach really cool programs. It comes up in a later part of this too. But for longevity, they're doing classes on intuitive eating. And these are ones that are coming up in June. Quick and healthy meals and recipes. They're just really awesome stuff. And they've been doing this for a few months now, and it's been really, really successful. And these are at a couple different branches. So again, these are the most recent ones that are coming up in June and July. But they're going to be, as they go forward, on our website. And again, you can always call. This is something else, library resources for longevity. We help host a farmer's market on wheels. It's called the Metro Market. This is specifically at the Lewis and Clark branch, so if you live further north, but it is so cool. They roll up on this bus and you walk inside, and it is a farmer's market. It's like this little mini produce section. Oh, it's so neat. But it's affordable. You're not paying farmer's market prices, fresh food, but it's a really neat resource. I love that we do this. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the I in life, independence. This is one that's near and dear to all of us, I am sure. Maintaining autonomy and personal control over your daily routines. It is what, when we talk about aging in place, it is this undercurrent, right, is what all of us want to do is maintain our independence. And so one of the things that in this life model is going to ask you is to think about interdependence as a key part of independence. So sometimes maintaining your autonomy and those control requires other people. And that can be really, really hard. It was hard for me. It can be really hard. But we're going to look at kind of how that might play out. So things that contribute to independence at any age. Just a couple different examples. Delivery, curbside pickup for awkward items. If you need things, there is more opportunity for that thing to come to you than there ever has been before. And sometimes navigating what that takes can be a little challenging. A lot of times the library can actually help you with that. Home organization, believe it or not, huge part of independence, especially if your goal is to age in place. The more organized you are, the more you'll be able to use the space that you're in. There are a lot of professional organizers. If you don't want to pay someone, you can watch YouTube videos. You can find a lot of books out there about what it is. And it's not just about downsizing. I'm not saying you got to throw out half your stuff. It is about how do you optimize the space that you're in to support you living there. That was a really hard one for me personally. I can organize a filing cabinet like you have never seen. Like, you give me paperwork and information, I am amazing. You give me things, and it's like you open, it's like, you guys, the Fibber, McGee, and Molly's closet, if you know that, it's like you open my closet, and it is a mess. I need to do, because where I live does not support me, and if I would adopt some of this, it absolutely would be a much more usable space. Home assistants, Alexa, Google. It may or may not be for you, but there can be some really good benefits there. So if you're interested, and we'll talk about that, the library can help you with your home assistants. Apps. Again, I am not shoving technology on you if you don't want to use it, but if you are open to using apps, some of them can be really, really helpful. One example, Todoist, is it's a list app. So you can create lists, but you can share them with other people. And then Mealime, meal planning with organized shopping lists. And so the reason I use these examples, or this is a real life example for me. Personally, I hate the grocery store. I get stressed out. I hate shopping. I hate meal planning. It's just one of those buttons for me. It's like there's so many other things I would rather do. But not surprisingly, in my household, I'm the one that cooks and I'm the one that does the shopping, right? So I use Mealime. I pick out 3-4 meals for the week. It generates a grocery list. I then put that grocery list into Walmart.com. They deliver those groceries to me, and then anything that they can't get to me, I put in Todoist. I share that list with my partner, who is not as stressed out by the grocery store. He goes to Schnucks or whatever, and then fills in those gaps. This means I have more time, because shopping online, way less time than going to the grocery store, much less stress. Everything comes to me, and I'm relying on my partner to fill in those gaps. He works from home, works really well for us. That is something that I have managed to interweave combinations of technology and people, my life so much better for it. So it's just an example. But there are apps that are out there that can help you just with some of the heavy lifting. It just kind of takes that off you. So organizations that might make your life a little easier, this is probably one of them, right? Aging Ahead. If you're not familiar with Aging Ahead, they are fantastic. They focus on 60 plus. They do free Medicare counseling, so when it comes to enrolling, making changes, they will sit down and help you. There are so many creepy insurance people out there that will charge you for Medicare counseling. It is a free service that you can find. But they can help with helping you find money for home modifications, transportation. They also do Meals on Wheels. They're amazing. ElderLink can answer questions about utility assistance, in-home support, transportation resources, lots of stuff out there. You don't have to remember all of these. Again, call your reference librarian, and we will look up all this for you. Lutheran Social Services, again, in-home assistance, utility assistance, in-home assessments. So again, part of that aging in place, part of that independence part is how can I change my home to support me for as long as possible? And if you don't know where to start, Aging Ahead, Lutheran Social Services are both good starting places. Oh, sorry for the kind of overlap there. But again, library resources for independence. Book a trainer. Book a Trainer is a free one-on-one meeting with a very tech-savvy and very patient human being. So you go to your local branch with a specific problem like, I want to use Alexa, or someone bought me Google Assistant and I don't know what to do with it. I have a Kindle, I have an iPad, I have some piece of technology, I got a new phone and I don't know how to use it. You can make an appointment with them and they'll help you. They will sit down with you for an hour and help you work through it step by step. And it's not just one. If you don't get it, you can come back and keep working on it. We also have tons of free computer classes on topics like this, on actually using computers themselves, whatever. We've got lots of free technology help that please take advantage of, because it's there. Other things for independence, free tax prep. We offer free tax preparation. We do not have accountants, but we partner with, AARP, SCORE. We've got 2, 3, 4 different people that we partner with that we bring in, and they do free tax prep. And the emphasis is on 55 and above. There is, I think, income limits. I don't remember what they are off the top of my head, but we do those every single year. So it's probably a little late this year unless you've filed an extension. This is only in leading up March and April. So kind of put that seed there for next year. And so Community Action Agency of St. Louis County programs, they can help you fill out assistance applications. If you need assistance and you don't know if there's a program out there that can help you, they can help you. We host them at the library, so you can just drop by the library and work with them, or you can reach out to them directly. Again, free, a really good tool for independence. We are also doing 55 plus back to work classes and job fair. So for folks who are over 55 that are looking for jobs or struggling to find a job, we have a whole series that talks about resume writing, acing your interview, how to find jobs, and it ends with a job fair, which is open. You don't have to do all of the classes to go to the job fair, but it is filled with employers that are committed to hiring 55 plus people. Actually just took a call yesterday from the Missouri Highway Patrol, and they are looking for 55 plus employees. And it's interesting, there's a lot of stuff out there, if you look for it, where there are a lot of employers that are skewing that way because work ethic, people that show up and work hard, and with all of the, the Great Resignation, all of that, people who are older tend to be better workers. And so if they can have a job that accommodates you, more and more people are skewing older, which I thought was really interesting because I don't feel like you see that as much, but there's a lot out there on it. This one's coming up next year. It is called Pitch Perfect, Empowering Encore Entrepreneurs. This is an 8-week series that we're doing. It is specifically aimed at people over 55 that are business owners. So if you've started a business and you're in that first year, or if you know someone who has, tell them about this. You go through business planning, working with other people and mentors, but it's really specific to how do you fund your business without risking your retirement, right? What does ageism look like when you are in small business spaces? It looks at each of those kind of components, so it's really kind of tailored and specific, but this is new, and at the end, you can get a cash infusion for your business. So this is, like I said, brand new. This is going to be coming spring of 24, but we're really excited about this. Okay, F, the F for fitness. F in life, which is fitness. Health choices and behaviors throughout your lifespan play a role in reversing and preventing health problems. This is the stuff that we know, right? So when I was in college, I fell down the stairs, just an accident. I am in my mid-40s, and I feel it if I don't stretch, right? So things that happen because I did not take care of it, I was just like, I'll shake it off. It's 20 years later, and I feel it, right? So those things catch up with us throughout our life. And so when we talk about fitness, there's definitely an element of that. And there's different parts of fitness, right? So physical fitness, regular physical activity, these are the things that we know, but are always good to be reminded. They're going to reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, reduce the risk of certain cancers. Regular physical activity helps improve mental health, mood, and sleep, right? So, but think back to the blue zones, right? I mean, this isn't just the eat less, move more, right? It's about how do we build all of these things into our life to create a better holistic quality of life, right? So exercise changes the brain in ways that protect memory and thinking skills. This is super cool. This is real. There are studies that have been done that show that regular cardiovascular exercise, so you're getting that oxygenated brain, blood to your brain, actually improve memory, not just in non-diagnosed people, but people who have been diagnosed with cognitive issues, whether that is dementia, whether that is any form of dementia, any of it. Short-term memory is improved. So this is real. Your brain can change with exercise. And I think that that is absolutely wonderful. But how much, right? That was my next question. I was like, all right, so how much does it actually take for me to get this improvement? Not as much as you would think. 120 minutes of moderate intensity exercise. So that's when you're walking, you barely break that sweat, but you're not huffing and puffing. That's about that moderate level. So an hour twice a week, 4 30-minute walks a week. And I think it was the 4 30-minute walks that the actual study, the original study, and it's been replicated, did. So that, again, physical exercise, cognitive health, it all comes together. But some library resources for physical fitness. We have way more of these than you think, because I was surprised at how many we have, and I knew about some of these. Walk with Ease is an ongoing program. It's offered at Merrimack Valley and Florissant Valley, but you actually work with somebody who's been trained by the Arthritis Foundation. So you learn about form, walking properly, all that good stuff. But really, you also get to meet other people who are there for the same reason. So it kind of checks a couple different boxes on the social side of health and the physical side of health. Yoga. We've got yoga for everyone. We've got yoga story time, so we got like baby yoga, we've got adult yoga, we have got chair yoga, we have stretch yoga, dance yoga, you name it, we got it. But regardless of where you are or what your interest level is, we have some kind of yoga, and it is offered all over the county. So chair yoga is on Zoom every other Wednesday, so if you want to do virtual, you can. In person, you can find one of these every week at a branch. Just depends on what branch. But I guarantee, I looked up yoga today and I was like, whoa, we've got lots. So if that interests you, we got you covered. Whoa. Balance bar. This one is new. This one is totally new. It's just through June and July. And it is presented by Vitality in Motion. It is all about balance with ballet. You do not need to have any experience. And I should say that any of our physical fitness stuff is geared for the absolute beginner. It can scale up for you, but don't feel like, oh, I've never taken ballet, or I did it when I was 8. It doesn't matter. It is not about that. It is about going and just having fun, getting that exercise. But Balance Bar, that's offered at Jamestown Bluff, Daniel Boone, Rock Road, and Weber Road. So that's kind of all over the counties. All over the county. Dancing. That is absolute physical fitness, and we have more dance classes than you would ever think. So we've got folk dancing at Thornhill, social dancing at Daniel Boone, and then line dancing. And line dancing is one that we have pretty much year-round. The social dancing and folk dancing kind of comes and goes depending on when we can get instructors, but line dancing is offered virtually and in person. So you can do that through Samuel Sachs or Daniel Boone. But did you have a question? Oh, okay. Yeah, it is super popular. People absolutely love it. And the guy that teaches it at Samuel Sachs is a nutbag in the best way. He's so much fun. He has so much energy. He does the virtual and the in-person, and he's great. So you can request it. And then it's up to management and it's up to adult services to try and figure out the people that we partner with, whether it's a partnership or whether it is an employee. Like at Saks, it's an employee, and he's qualified to teach it, and so he does it, but that's where he works. So kind of there's a couple different things, but requesting is the first thing to do because that lets them know that there's interest in that particular community. So if you've requested it, keep doing it. If you can get other people to do it, get them to do it too. There's nothing wrong with stuffing the ballot box if you can get people to show up to programs. All right, so also part of fitness, again, that F in life is emotional fitness. We talked about physical fitness, but emotional fitness is a huge component. I love this. So compared with younger counterparts, older adults react less to negative situations. They're more apt to ignore irrelevant negative stimulus, and in general, they remember more positive than negative information. And this is real. It's called the positivity effect. And the older you get, and it starts to track in midlife, the more you just kind of shrug off some of the negative things. And that isn't to say that you're just this ray of sunshine, but you do naturally tend to focus more on the positive memories, on the better qualities of people. And, maybe that's just wisdom. Maybe it is discernment. It's figuring out as you go what's important to hold on to and what to let go of. There's actually a lot of study and competing theories on this, but I look on the bright side of it. I love it. I love that I am more apt to remember good things than bad things. I feel like that is a huge plus of aging. That said, depression, number one mental health issue in America, regardless of age group. Regardless of where you are. And so there's competing research. Some research will say that the older you get, the less reports of depression or severity there are. Others say, no, that's not true. It just looks a little bit different. Either way, it is the leading mental health challenge in America, period. And so we see here, according to the CDC, 18.5% of adults of any age report some level of depression, so about 20%, which is significant. I did put a few different phone numbers up there. Really, I think the crisis hotline, the 988, if you or anyone you know is even in that area, 988 is fantastic. It is staffed by knowledgeable, lovely people, very easy to remember. It's not 911, it's just 988. They're great, so I'm just gonna plug them for that. But again, it's part of fitness. It is the emotional side of your health. And the library does have resources for emotional fitness as well. One of the newest ones we have, which is pretty cool, is called Headspace. And again, this is technology, so you don't have to do it if you don't want to. You can do it on your home computer, or you can do it on a tablet, phone, whatever your mobile device is, but it's an app. And you log in, you create an account, and it does guided meditations. It also helps with sleep. So if you only use this for sleep, it's really great. It kind of talks you through and down over. I've used it, it's great. There's music built in. There's one, they're called Sleepcasts, and it's someone who very slowly and very nicely reads you a story about someone doing something. And it just helps you fall asleep. So you can be as into it or out of it as you want. I strongly recommend this one. This is also a savings. So if you were to subscribe to this on your own, I think it would be $70 a year. It's a monthly subscription. With a library card, it's free. So you got to go through the library to do it, and we can help you. Again, call us, we'll help you. But take advantage of it, because that is a free thing that otherwise you'd pay for. Other thing, also saving you money, because you could do it and pay for it. With us, it's free. It's called Udemy. These are free online classes. So if you like the idea of learning at your own pace, watching videos as people walk you through things, we do have some things that do touch on the emotional fitness. So how to develop emotional resilience, stress management, dealing with difficult people, which I think all of us at all points need more help dealing with difficult people. Journaling, journal mastery is in there. Key to happiness and doing self-care. They also have things on like coding and marketing. Everything you can imagine is in Udemy. But I love that they don't overlook the emotional fitness part of things. So back to the Community Wellness Hub. So again, this is a partnership with JBC Health. Journaling is self-care, stress management, mindful movement. These are all classes that are offered through the library in partnership that fall under that emotional health, emotional fitness part of it. And so the journaling for self-care, I love this. Okay, so 1986, there was a gentleman named Dr. James Pennebaker, and he did a study, PhD, academic guy, and his study was, he had a control group and an experimental group. He asked the experimental group to spend 15 minutes, only 15 minutes a day, every day, for 4 days, writing about something that was challenging, whether that's trauma, sadness, worry, anxiety. The control group, he asked to just write 15 minutes a day about anything, doesn't matter what it is. The group that wrote about the hard things, over 6 months, reported better moods, fewer trips to the university clinic for both mental and physical health. I mean, the list is incredible. And you think, really? It has been replicated hundreds of times. This was in 1986. It is basically accepted that journaling can significantly improve mental health. Expressive writing, what it can do, processing, all kinds of things. So the information is out there. I'm a geek about this. I really did a deep dive on journaling and mental health. So my email address will be up there. If you want more information, I would love to share it with you. So I was really excited when I saw that journaling as self-care was something that we were offering. All right, we're still not done with fitness. We're still going through fitness, cognitive fitness. Your brain never stops making new connections. It doesn't. This idea that our brain stops at 25 has been completely disproven. If you're active in lifelong learning, which is what we're doing right now, you may maintain or improve your cognition. And when I say improve, dementia is dementia. There are just some things that are not reversible, but there are absolutely things that can slow, that can maintain, and in sometimes improve. But I'm not saying there's a miracle cure for anything. But again, so you can teach an old dog all kinds of new tricks. I love this. In 2018, there was a study that with younger and older adults, and they were given an increasing amount of tasks, so the work just kept building up. And so yes, younger people, they did it a whole lot faster. They didn't struggle as much, sure, but you know who did it better and more accurately? Were older people, because they have more experience. They are slower, maybe a little bit more methodical, and sure, maybe those neurons aren't firing quite as quickly, but you are reaching back and using what's called crystallized intelligence, your life experience, to solve problems. So again, I like it that adults were more accurate. The Mature Mind, this is just a plug for this book. It's fantastic. It's called by Gene Cohen. He was the president of the Gerontological Society of America, I believe. But my main takeaway, very good book, but my main takeaway is that as you get older, your brain develops. When you're younger, very left brain, right brain, we hear about right, left. As you get older, the band of tissue that connects the two hemispheres of your brain gets thicker, which means that it's called bilateralization. You're using both sides of your brain simultaneously, and that happens more and more and more as you get older. It changes how you solve problems. It changes how you experience things. And basically, it allows you to use your heart in your brain when you think about things. I think that is really cool. I think it's an interesting positive. But Gene Cohen did a lot of really early research on brains of older people. So that's a plug for that book. So these are some tips from the Alzheimer's Association, who has wonderful resources for cognitive fitness. And you do not need to have Alzheimer's or be a caregiver. They have really great education that is aimed at everyone of all ages. Read books and articles that challenge you, that inspire you, kind of think outside the box. Complete puzzles, play games that are challenging, learn new skills and hobbies, and Number one, engage in ongoing learning, right? What we're doing right now. And so library resources that kind of fit into this, we have a library of things. You can check out musical instruments, everything from drums to electric guitars. We have tabletop games, card games, jigsaw puzzles. We have, binoculars. We also have fishing poles if you want to get out in nature and learn a new skill. And we have telescopes, all kinds of things to help support a variety. It's not just looking at a screen or reading a book. Lifelong learning looks like everything that you can imagine, and we can help you with that. Okay, so we're now to the E. We're down to the end of it, the E in life, which is engagement, social interaction and support, which again, probably at least part of what you're here for today, right? And this all fits into this holistic idea of aging. So according to the American Psychological Association, social disconnection can be as harmful to people as obesity, physical inactivity, and get this, smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. I actually looked up that study because I was like, that can't be right. It is right. Yeah, isn't that amazing? At the library, we have an enormous amount of opportunities for social engagement. The gentlemen that you see there at the top, they volunteer their time to work on our telescopes, to do the maintenance and keep them tip-top. The people that you see down below, it's a crochet group that get together and they crochet. We have a lot of different craft groups and craft activities that meet regularly. And I think we even have one where you don't have to have a particular thing. If you're just working on something, if you're working on your cross stitch, you're working on your whatever, you can just go and hang out with people that are working on their whatever. So it's about being there in the same place, but you don't always have to be working on the same thing. So some other things, we've got book clubs, of course. We are a library. We have something like 90 plus book clubs. Some of them still meet online, so if that's good for you, that's great. We have them all over the branches. Science fiction. We have a chapter book club where you only have to read a chapter of a book. Romance, mystery, no reading required. We have a book club where you don't even have to read a book. Yes, we will meet you wherever you are. You show up and you talk about books. You talk about what you have been reading. And so it's about, again, that social connection, that is cognitive engagement. There's a lot going on at book clubs. I personally lead 2 book clubs, and I love them. It is the highlight of my job. Coming out and doing this is probably, it's a close second, but I love my book clubs. Another example is trivia. Incredibly popular programs. We have trivia nights covering all kinds of things. So coming up just in the next month and a half, trivia night on friendship, famous friendships, senior trivia fun, Schitt's Creek trivia night. So if you guys watch the TV show, we have a full trivia night all about the show. Pride trivia, because June is Pride Month, video game trivia, and more. There are at least 2 or 3 more, and that I didn't put on here that are coming up. Some are virtual, most of them are in person. We still offer a fair amount of virtual programming, so if there's something for some reason you want to stay home, you can do that. Other things that we have painting with rhythm. We have a lot of painting classes. Some of our most popular programs are our art classes. And so this is a particular one that I just think is really fun. It's at Natural Bridge. This one is coming up. It's once a month. You paint while you listen to jazz music. That just sounds really relaxing to me, really fun. You usually have someone who guides you as everybody paints. Some are very Bob Ross-like, where you have one person at the front, everyone's painting the same scene. Others are far more free flow. It's about whatever works for you. We have the Kranzberg Jazz Jam. The Kranzberg Foundation, first Thursday of every month, we have some of the best jazz musicians in St. Louis that work with the Kranzberg go to the library branch, and then local musicians just come and join. And it's this huge jam session. And it's very impromptu. It's really fun. But these are just some examples of some engagement, different things that you might not know that we do that can help enhance, again, that engagement part of life. And so these are just some additional resources, some libraries, some not, just to kind of something to leave us with. Next Avenue. Anybody familiar with Next Avenue? They are so under the radar. I think they're great. They're part of PBS. They are aimed specifically at older adults. They don't overflood your email, your inbox. I probably get 1 or 2 a week. I click on them every time. There's always something in there that's interesting, but they do offer email classes. So they have a lot of different courses that you can take, or you can just read their content. But this is take control of the rest of your life. It is aimed at folks that are middle-aged, thinking about what the next however many decades are going to require. They have creativity classes, they have finance classes, they've got all kinds of really cool stuff. But I would just suggest check out Next Avenue. They're really cool. Again, another plug for the Alzheimer's Association. Their ongoing education stuff, fantastic, absolutely fantastic, free, online or in person. Other resources for engagement. So come to the library, we want to see you. We've got lots of stuff. If you want to check out some other things, there is an organization called Volunteer Match. They are a website, but it can help you find volunteer activities in your area. You can search by zip code, by interest, might put some things in front of you that you weren't aware of. And then meetup.com. And so Meetup is, you join Meetup, and then you can look to see all over your area, and this is nationwide. If you're into hiking, if you want to look for a book group, if you're into anything at all, I have seen some of the most esoteric, odd things that people will gather around. But Meetup is a really good place if you want to just meet new people that have the same interest as you. This is Library Associated, again, Aging Ahead, fantastic organization, and they teach classes that are called choice programs, and they teach these at our library. They're free, they're online and in person. The ones that are in person, you get a really, really nice lunch for like $5, but they're really fun, and they're extremely good, and they cover everything from your very basic, diabetes prevention, to all kinds of crazy stuff. Anyway. Big plug for Aging Ahead classes. Check out the choice programs at the library. They're really, really good. So now, if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them. This is me. If you want to email me, you can call me as well. Email is the easiest part. I'm out and about quite a bit, so if you do have any questions for me, you can email me. But thank you very much for having me today. I love talking about this stuff. It's really fun. I apologize I can't join you for lunch. If you have me back, I will stay for lunch next time, but I've got lots of things to talk about, so feel free to have me back. But does anybody have any questions about any of the things that we went over today? I know. Most of the things that I talked about, I believe you're going to find under the events and programs part of the website. You can do keyword searching in there. You can also search by date. So if you want to look for yoga, for example, or dancing, just put that in the keyword search. It is going to pull up every one of the programs that has that word in it. And from there, you can see where they are and when. Events and programs. Exactly. And so when you open up our website, there's a bar that runs across kind of about towards the top, and it's like research, books, e-media, and more, events and classes. That's what you want to click on. Anybody else? Yes. Mm-hmm. All at the same time. And yeah, absolute nutrition and health, that's really cool. Oak Bend does some really cool stuff. They really do. So yeah, I don't know if you guys caught it, but it is a cooking class where everyone brings in something on a theme. So you cook a recipe at home and then bring something in, and then everybody samples and tries. That's really cool. I didn't even know about that, so I'm glad you mentioned it. Yeah, did I have a question over here? Oh, okay, here. Evidently, it is now, because I was told this was being recorded. So I think check with Liz, and she can probably tell you about where you can find it. Yeah, so you're absolutely right. So about a year ago, we merged catalogs with the city, which means that all of the materials, your DVDs, CDs, books, all of that are available. If the city owns it, you can get it. But what came with that was a change in our catalog system. You're absolutely right. And there is definitely a learning curve because we had our old one for so long, everybody knew how to use it. So I would say you are welcome to either stop in a branch and someone should be able to just sit down and help you with it. But the Book a Trainer that I talked about, where you can get help with technology, they can help you. Book a Librarian is a reference thing. So if you book a librarian, you're booking me, basically a reference librarian, and we can help you figure out the website as well. So I totally sympathize with you because I had to learn it too. Wouldn't it be nice? I would say book a librarian. So that way it's also on our website. It's under using the library. There is a link called Book a Librarian. You can call us too. But book a librarian, and then that request will come, and then we'll find a time that works for you to meet at your branch to sit down, and you can be at the computer, and we will talk you through. Happy to do that. That's a totally legitimate question because that was a huge change. Yeah. Book a trainer? Yep. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. I keep thinking there's a question over here. Am I making that up? I might be. Okay, excellent. So yes, couple things. Yes, you can call and ask, are there crochet classes? And then we would be able to tell you, one, if there are, because sometimes it's just a group that meets, although they might very well be able to teach you. Sometimes it's a group that meets, sometimes there's a class, and then we would be able to tell you where that is. The other part of that is, and this is again online, but we do have, so Joann Fabric basically has like a YouTube thing called Creative Bug. Anybody familiar with Creative Bug? Joann Fabric, they have craft classes, another subscription thing. So if you go out there, you would subscribe to it free with your library card, but you can get video classes that will teach you how to crochet. We had so many people that learned to knit and crochet during shutdown with COVID. Our Creative Bug numbers spiked because people were just learning how to do stuff that they'd always wanted to learn how to do. So we do have a resource, even if we can't get the class, if you want to learn, you can learn that, but it would be on your own, unfortunately. But once you learn it, you can go to our drop-in and craft stuff, and then you can crochet and meet other people that crochet too. You're welcome. Yeah. Yes. So each library has a brochure. And that brochure will tell you what programs are happening at that location. So if you want to know what's happening at your local library this month, next month, you can just pick up a little trifold brochure and it'll have all of those programs. I am more accustomed because I am more system-wide at looking at the website because that lists where everything is. But if and I don't blame you, if you just want to stick close to home, you just pick up that brochure, it will tell you everything. I am very pro avoiding the computer if you don't want to use it. I don't appreciate being shoved online any more than anybody else does. But yes, thank you for mentioning that because I don't always think about it because I'm always, yes, yeah, absolutely. Everybody does. Nobody wants to go any further than they have to. I get it. Yeah. You mean so you actually have a chance to stamp it before they're like, yeah. Yep. Yep, absolutely. You're totally right. So yeah, bingo, I should include that because I went with trivia because it's kind of that same thing where it's a socialization, you're meeting new people. There's a lot of conversation back and forth. Bingo's exactly the same. That's a great suggestion. Yes.
Heard puzzle being mentioned, and this is totally off subject, but my husband is a puzzle fanatic,
Is he?
and we have. Can we donate them to the library?
I believe that you can, yes. I would say call us and ask about how many, just so we know. If the library's ever weird, if you're like, I want to donate my books, and we get a little cagey, I will tell you why. Sometimes people show up with U-Hauls, and I'm not making that up, and we can't accommodate that volume, so we had to get kind of like, we only take one box, because that's at least something that we can manage. I mean, you show up with 2 boxes, we're going to take it. But, so if we ever get weird about donations, it's because you'd be surprised at what we've had show up at our doorstep. Puzzles, I'm sure, they're incredibly popular, so I'm sure that we would take them. I would say just call first so that the branch knows and we have an idea of what to expect. But that's a great question. Thank you. That's really generous because that's it works for both of us. Yeah. The community gardens, yes. Yes, I believe that Grants View does. I want to say Lewis and Clark does. You're absolutely right. They're so cool. $12 to $38, that's incredible. Yeah, St. Louis is a community garden area. Whether you're in the city or in the county, you can find community gardens. I love that we do that. Absolutely. All right, any other questions? Yes. Adaptive aging. Adaptive aging. No, it's not on the website, but I can share the slides if you want. Okay, and then the slides will be on the SAGE website. Sure, yeah, I can. Oh, okay. Yeah, yep. I apologize for we didn't get it recorded, so.
Thanks for being honest. We'd be calling Hillary.
Well, okay. So that makes me feel a little bit better that I'm not out there for the whole world to see, just you guys. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. Blue zones, yes. The blue zones. David Butner, but it's spelled weird. But if you remember blue zones, that'll get you there. Okay. Anybody else? All right. Cool. Thank you guys very much. This was super fun. Thank you.